Now the second question asks us to generate an array of size 25 and fill it with random numbers 0 to 100. And print that array on a line and its average on the second line. So kind of similar to the first question, but this time we'll mix things around a bit and we'll use two methods. Just to practice. We'll call our second method we'll call it average array for now, and we want it to be and we want it to be an array of integers. So at one point we're going to need to return something that's an integer. But first we'll take care of this public static void main. In this we want to create an array of integers, and we'll call it random array. And we need a new int of length 25. And the same way we did for question 1, so for int I equals 0, I less than 25, I plus plus, we want to store in every position a integer that is randomly chosen from a number of 0 to 100. And we are going to print this array at every position. And this time we're just going to add a comma. So that looks good. And there we go. But now we're still, if we're going to use two different methods, we need to call the second method. And this second method, we're going to have two integers. One of them is going to be an integer of arrays, so we're going to call it array of int. And we're going to have a second integer called length. So now I need to call this method average array. I need to ask my system to go find this method. And I do that by, Now I've called my method, and now I'm going to put in my two integers here that I wanted to use. So the first one is an array because I wrote integer array. So the array I wanted to use is my random array that I generated. And now for my length, I wanted to use 25. Let's close that up. There we go. So now technically this this array of integers is actually my random array that is being renamed array int. And this length is actually the integer 25 that I asked it to use. And now in this method, we're going to create a new integer called average number, and we're going to set it to 0 for now. And we're going to say for I less than the length, so less than 25, I plus plus, what we want it to do is the following. I'm redefining my average number as it being the average number. So we're going to start with 0 plus the value that I have at every position of my array int, which is in fact my random array from my first method. And this is just going to keep going for the length of the array, which is 25. So it's going to keep going 25 times, and it's going to keep adding to my average number the value of the next position. Now we all know that what we need to do for an average number is actually take that sum of values and divide it by the total amount of numbers we've added. And we know that we added 25 numbers because there are 25, because we have an array of 25 values. So, and this 25 values is stored in the integer called length. So what we're going to do is average number. I'm going to redefine average number as being the average number from here, which is the summation, divided by the length. Okay, which I defined here, and I asked it to use 25. And then we are going to I'm just going to print a blank line because last time in last question we had this issue, and I'm going to print a statement that says or we could just say the average of the random array. And now because we've made this a method of int, we need to return an int. And we know that the int I want to return is actually this average number, since it is exactly what I wanted it to be. And this average number is in fact an integer. So I can just ask it to return average number. So this should work. Let's compile it. Let's run it. There we go. So here's my array of 25 values. And the average of this random array is 45. So it just took the sum of all of these, divided it by 25, and it returned that value to me. Fairly easy. It could have been done in a single method under void like we did for the first question, but here we're just practicing the use of different methods and recalling them. Now